Hotep, Karibu, welcome. On this beautiful day, we turn towards the star Sirius and our sun, Rahu in September of the Earth year 2017. I have next in audio and a few slides a coffee talk with my husband this morning that I'd like to share. I apologize if the background noise of the cars that go by. Again, this recording is done in urban nature, meaning we live in a real urban city, but we sit outside, we face the east and watch the sun come up and drink coffee. So you're going to hear birds and other things in nature as well as cars that are things in our urban environment. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll give you a final hotep at the end. Stay well. Let's make assumptions because it's a start when you don't have a start. And some people talk you out of making assumptions so you never get started.
Right.
And that's not any better than making assumptions that aren't based on anything.
Right.
You must start somewhere.
You have to start.
Everybody has to start somewhere. So, your assumption is that this professor had reached a status where she was prepared to say what she thought she might, quote unquote, get away with to a class or a course, into a coursework, body of coursework, okay? And, whether...
oh, wait a minute.
No, say go ahead.
Pause here. It wasn't really part of a coursework. It was just a comment she made on Twitter, I think, or something. It wasn't really formalized. But, the echoes, so to speak, I guess, that she had commented along that lines.
Well, before we started recording, we discussed the difference between going to college and going to university.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that the structure, as we understand it now, is that there are colleges inside of a university, i.e., we went to the University of la 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 la. Within the University of la 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 is your engineering college, your business college, your college of nursing, your humanities college, okay?
Right.
So
several colleges.
Several colleges within a university. Now, there again, we, with both bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, understand that even though we studied in the College of Engineering, there was coursework we had to take in literature, the humanities, other colleges, okay? That's what makes us universal scholars, okay? So I just want to throw that in there. The difference between college thinking and universal thinking.
Right, okay.
When you decide that you want to focus on a particular major, then you start spending a lot of time just in that college. Usually that's for the upperclassmen, because the underclassmen are required to think on a universal level first. Okay? So, yes. If by chance you continue to think on a universal level, you have no idea how well you're balanced. Because yes, you're willing to entertain thoughts from a diverse range. Let's say this particular professor, thinking on her universal level, isolated a pattern of people of a certain color and a certain sexual orientation that seem to think, and I say thinks because thoughts are communication, words are vibrations, that seem to think on a certain wavelength that cause dis-ease for the rest of everybody else. If that even makes sense when I say the rest of everybody else, but that's just what comes out of my mouth. So as a scientist, that's what we do. When we're running experiments, we say, oh, either that's an outlier over there, because it's not acting to the benefit of our study.
Okay.
That's either an outlier or this is a problem population. This data right here is the problem population. It is not conforming. It is not supportive. It's not beneficial to the experiment. Now, I don't want to say humankind is an experiment, but when you're studying, why, like you said, aren't we working together as a quote unquote collective? That he hid, and we're talking off subject because we're sitting out on the front porch drinking coffee. Squirrels come into the trees, and on a regular basis, I put my apple cores in this tree, and I put it in there for the squirrels because every time I come out here, the squirrels seem to tell me they want an apple core. Now, what I did not know until just recently is that he takes that core and he sticks it down in the tree because we're watching him pull an aged apple core out of the tree, and he's munching on it right now in front of us, watching us do this recording. Hey, what can you say? Connect to nature all day. Now, back to the professor that we're talking about.
Well, I mean, no, I think this is appropriate segue, is that we are connected to nature. That the squirrel is a part of our ecological makeup. It's like an identified population that impacts our makeup. I mean, we impact that squirrel. We impact its survival. Good, bad, or ugly, we're doing that. And so if we identify something that damages or injures the squirrels, we would call that a danger or risk to the squirrel population.
Or a problem.
Or a problem, yeah.
We would have identified a problem. Now, what we were talking about before we ran out of coffee was that, and I think you had a question. What happens to a person who's able to effectively label a group of people as the problem population? My reply was, when you are effectively able to put a label, then you've pretty much admitted they are your problem.
Mm-hmm.
When you can label them the problem, now you've acknowledged, I have a problem.
Interesting. So that means those who can't label it, or who won't label it,
That
are
is,
denying, or
they are in denial. That is
Okay.
exactly what I'm saying. So if she's the only professor on that whole campus,
Or on the
that's
planet.
or on the planet, but we'll just go to a micro level on that university campus, because that's why I was trying to qualify universal thinking.
Mhm.
On a universal, everybody should be thinking on a universal level.
Okay.
But when you are on a university campus and staff, students, faculty cannot come to the conclusion that they have a problem, they want to ignore that, they want to sidestep it, they want to pretend like things are not happening on that campus, you no longer have people thinking on a universal level. They're not admitting, they are in denial of this problem. No one probably wants to tell her that's not true. They just don't want to admit it. Do you see what I mean? If you want to tell someone they're lying, be prepared to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just tell them they're lying. Just don't tell them they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about. Using their data,
Mm-hmm.
prove them wrong. Did we see anybody do that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think anybody can do that?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? This is when we have to more seriously examine what is really going on. It's easy to tell somebody, oh, that's a lie. How do you know? Because I learned that in church. That don't mean nothing.
Right.
If I come to you and say that the people of this persuasion, and that's a way for me to capitalize the fact that they're a certain color, a certain gender, they come from a certain economic background. They're the kind of people that go to other people's countries and steal stuff, enslave them, and brainwash them.
Right.
So, okay, all of that is their essence, okay? All of that is their quote unquote persuasion. We're going to use that word for the lack of having to go through all of that qualifier again, okay? So we got a group of people from a certain persuasion, and we have actually collected data with numbers, and you know the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, they do.
The numbers lie? Well, I mean, if I take a group of people, a diverse group of people, okay? I got 100 unique individuals. And out of that 100, one person is causing trouble all the damn time, starting wars all the damn time, okay? The origination of pedophilia, drugs, okay? Mutations and mutilations. If that one unique being, I have numbers that tell me that this is a problem. That's why I say the numbers don't lie.
Out of that 100, all the data keeps going back to this one individual.
And that's why I said this one persuasion.
This one person out of the 100, out of the subset.
That's what and so you say the numbers lie because yes, even that one persuasion is manipulating the numbers into a lie.
Exactly.
But the truth is the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Because they're teaching you fuzzy math.
Right. I meant the numbers in the sense all you gotta do is change the set. All you gotta do is change the set to where you have, 100 of them. And now they can say, well, what are you talking about? See, you said, you qualified, it's 100 diverse. It's 100 unique individuals from diverse backgrounds, and we have one individual. That individual caused all of this havoc and terror. But now if we get 100 of him or her, then you see what I'm saying, you've skewed the data. Hey, what are you talking about here?
But see, that's a good point. That's a good discussion point all to itself. Because when we go to our local public libraries, everything in there is written by that population. When we go to our public school systems, all curriculum and instructional, and I say way to instruct, is controlled by that problem population.
Exactly.
This is not a valid subset. This is not scientific, i.e. balanced or truthful.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And that's a big hill to get over.
Yeah.
That's a long path to get through. But I'm here to tell you that path can be 50 million miles long. You can take it 1 mile at a time, or you can look for the quantum leap.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to stop right here and go get another cup of coffee. Okay.
Did you see some more notes?
No, I didn't, but this is the second cup of coffee today. And hopefully this conversation is going to take even a new level because I'm charged up with the organic honey this time in the coffee. So let's see if there's a difference.
Yeah. The evidence apparently seems to indicate that there is a problem population. The reason being, why would they take the statues down unless there is a problem population?
Go ahead and qualify what you mean by the statues.
Okay, there's a statue of a representative of this population.
Confederate
general,
statues are coming down all across the country.
Right, because it gives this is a problem population. It gives them emboldenment and belief systems that are flawed and skewed, that they are somehow supreme and above everyone else, and that is a problem. That is a problem, the theology and thinking. And so the statues embody that, and they embolden these folks, and so we need to remove them. The statues represent hatred, they represent division, they represent a system that is obsolete now.
Okay, I'm finna go deep into this. I'm sorry, this is probably
fine.
not where you want to go.
Hey, might as well discuss it.
Because before the Confederate statues started coming down, there was one very controversial, prominent statue that had been up on the campus of Penn State for how many years that had to come down?
The pedophile? No.
Yes, we're talking about the pedophile. Okay?
Yeah.
When that statue came down,
Yeah.
we talked then about how these statues go up, didn't we? Okay?
Yeah.
And what are they for?
Yeah. What are they for?
I'm not going to say the statue should never go up. But at that time frame, I acknowledge that they can come down.
Yeah.
Let's say, Jamal, Kareem, Abdullah has done a lot of great things in our city. Someone is feeling a lot of positive vibrations about that. They erect a statue to him.
Right.
But when Abdullah transcends, is no longer on this earth, and a great niece comes forward and says, he used to rape me every time we had a family reunion.
Right.
This is a no-brainer.
Right.
The statue comes down.
The
Okay?
meaning of the statue, right, is just diluted, corrupted,
I mean,
tainted.
again, what does it mean when you say it's been there 81 years, we shouldn't take it down? That means nothing to me. That means nothing to me. If the awakening on this planet now, the vibration on this planet now is, we don't want to entertain the division that represents Confederacy, simply take the damn statue down. Just like we did at the pedophile at Penn State.
Yeah.
Once we were able to feel the vibration of his victims, it was a no-brainer. Take the statue down. That particular, there again, universal thinking of people said, we don't want this vibration.
Right.
We don't want to walk to class every day with an open mind to learn something and see the closed-mindedness in this statue. To me, I don't care how much fake promissory notes it takes, take it down.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, as a people, we need to go. Once we start seeing things in the light of the moment, because we got to stay in the moment. See, that's where we also get caught up. Is what happened 81 years ago is not what's going on now. 81 years ago, that statue down in the heart of Dallas was erected among a vibration of the same kind of people. Today, that is not Dallas.
Right.
It's no brainer. The mayor of Dallas says it's got to come down. I got to agree with that. That is not representative of this city anymore. What more can I say?
Right.
You act like we can't take down bad vibrations because they've been up 81 years. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
Right. And what the statue does, again, represent is this illusion of superiority and supremacy of this problem population. I call them problem population in the sense that they're a problem because they think they have superiority and dominion over another group of individuals who, like them, are sane. I don't know how to put this, that they are, you're not superior, you're equal or less than, I don't.
Oh, you are on a certain track there. But let me take you with me for a few minutes. The Confederacy was a campaign, and it maybe still is a campaign, okay? And I shouldn't even say the word maybe. It is. It's a campaign that exists today. Because if you have a statue erected to anything but the indigenous people of this land, I told you I was getting ready to go there, didn't I? You need to start taking more statues down.
Wow. That's true.
Because the truth of it is, there were indigenous people here hundreds of years ago, and a group of people came here, invaded, stole, and it's been a shithill ever since that everybody's sliding down.
Yeah, you're right. In that sense, that is absolutely correct. Because like you said, now the reality and the truth comes to fore, and then we all begin to understand that all of these statues were erected on the falsehoods and fake principles and ideals. As radical as it sounds, it is the truth. Like she said, invaded, stolen, and So there's a lot of statues that need to come down.
I'm a firm believer in the triangle, a firm believer in pyramids. They are structural objects that epitomize fortitude, strength, and stability. Okay?
Fortitude, strength, and stability.
If your base of your pyramid, of your triangle, is built on stolen legacy. And what I mean by stolen legacy? Somebody from Europe coming over here talking about they discovered something when it was already in existence when they got here. They didn't discover nothing. So when the basics is Columbus Day, that's why I call it a shithill.
Right.
You build a level on top of that of crap, a level on top of that of crap, until you've got the peak of a pyramid of crap.
Right. Yep.
And if you don't start tearing those levels down, you're going to have to go, as above, so below. As high as you have built that pyramid, you're going to have to go that low to eradicate this shithill. I'm sorry.
Right. Root cause analysis, If your basic premise is flawed, everything else thereafter is flawed. Yeah, that's true.
So, to me, it's a no-brainer. Yes, the statues have to come down.
Yes,
we're talking about all the way up to George Washington, and if you got some Columbus, Christopher Columbus stuff, all of that has to come down.
Right. That's true. Renamed some streets. Yep. Because it's all, again, based in falsehood. It's all based on a flawed premise.
This is not just a United States thing. India has been doing this for years. There used to be a city called Bombay. I can't think of the name of it now, but they've renamed their cities. They've renamed all kind of stuff. They're trying to eradicate the negative vibration of what the impact of British rule was.
Which is a good lesson, and you're right, good thing.
Well, that's what Martin Luther King Jr. was trying to teach us, is that some of those principles of Mahatma Gandhi, is that how you say his name? we need here.
Yeah. If we're going to transition, if we're going to go ahead and make the next step, the next leap forward, so to speak.
Okay, so no, you've got a very safe mindset, and I appreciate that. But in my world, there is no if. It has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I said, you can only eat so much crap before you get sick.
Yeah. There's a lot of illness and sickness.
And then when you get sick, either one or two things happen. You get well, or you die.
Yeah.
But the only way you can get well is to get rid of the crap that you've been putting inside of yourself. And if you go to a doctor, I don't think they care one way or the other. They can either make you more sick so you die, or they can help you get well. A good doctor will tell you, stop eating that crap. Okay? Now you might go off and do something else different after that, find some other crap to eat, but you're going to stop eating that particular crap once they figure out what it was that made you sick. That's what the United States, what this planet must do.
Now, it kind of steers back a little bit. The problem population has profited off of the crap. They profited off of the illnesses and the disease because, there's profit in a form. I mean, the basis of it is if you can make the non-problem population sick and ill, there's no way they'll come and try to correct it by removing us, so to speak. We'll have dominion over them. I don't know how to put this.
But see, this is not entirely all their fault. Okay?
Right.
Because, we've talked in the past about the rise of patriarchy. Patriarchy has a lot to do with it.
Yes. Patriarchy.
And I'm going to say, I believe in matrilineal societies where there's balance of the genders and the energies.
Yeah, I do too.
But without patriarchy, there may never have been some of the great quote unquote structures that we have today, some of the great architecture. Some of that was driven by patriarchal ego. I heard one sister say, we wouldn't have these nice brick homes if it wasn't for patriarchy. I agree. Because in a matriarchy universal thought, we just kind of like had these nice, convenient, easy to make huts that would suffice for what needed to be. We just wanted to make sure our children were sheltered. When our male energies came along and worked with us, then they said, well, we're going to build you a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. And we were like, oh, that's cool. We like that too. That's a nice structure for our children. Okay? So I'm not going to say what the problem population's agenda is 100% their fault, because everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. This quote unquote problem population gets nothing done without the rest of us. Without the rest of us doing the work in the form sometime of free labor.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, if you are paying taxes, you're part of the problem. Not because, they make me. I know, I hear you. But the truth is, you're part of the problem population. You're giving them exactly what they need to build bombs to drop on people.
Drop on the babies. That's true.
So I don't want to think at any moment that they get away with what they get away with because they got all this power to take on everybody else. No, everybody else is supporting and giving them the strength they need to do these things.
Okay. And so in that sense, what you just said, it brings up a vibration. Yes, verily, they may be problem population X, but we are problem population Y.
Or XY.
Or XY, exactly. We are culpable. We are, co-conspirators. We're a problem population too. So
I heard one sister say, there are children. In the ancient African sense, they are our children. If evolution is what we think it is, yes, they evolved out of us.
Okay.
And so, there's been a number of Hollywood movies about baby boy.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Baby boy. How specifically we African mothers treasure our baby boys. How we let them get away with everything under the sun. Knowing they're abusing females, knowing that they're selling drugs, knowing they are not being the men that you want them to be. And we still got a hug and a kiss, and we go into some kind of, what do you call it? What did we just talk about? The
ignorance, or not blind ignorance, but the blind side, or oblivious, where we ignore their flaws and we ignore their. It's like a paradigm, I guess.
And people used to use the term enablers.
Enablers.
We become enablers.
Yeah.
We enable them to get away with the crap. Let them go get arrested, and we down there in court cussing people out, telling the judge this, telling the judge that.
Right. And the sentence, or the charges are dropped, or the charges are reduced, or the charges are dismissed. And so, like you said, there are cases throughout the entire population where this happens. And so we can't just necessarily point a finger at one subset. I mean, I guess in a sense, we all are. There's problem. We all have problems. Oh no. It's flawed reasoning just to say it's isolated, I guess, is what we're reaching the conclusion, is that we can't just blame chromosome X over there, or chromosome XY, or whatever.
I say we're XY because the X that they have, we gave it to them. And then we're sitting here asking why.
Why?
Do you get that? XY? We're asking why, but you gave them the X. You're carrying around the X with you. So you can't ask why.
No, you can't.
Well, look at your own X. You're enabling X right here.
Right.
If you've got policemen running around shooting your kids in the street, why are you still paying taxes so they can get paid? Why are you still supporting the Walmart down the street that pays corporate taxes into that community that makes sure they get paid?
Or consuming a product like the NFL, where the rich, wealthy billionaires squelch any sort of commentary or free speech on that matter. That's shocking. There's no way I would consume and eat that. You can't, not with good conscience.
And that's why we bring back the analysis of, if you label someone or some entity or group as the problem, are you actually prepared to take responsibility that you have identified your problem?
To take it to that next level. Because truthfully, in order to solve a problem, you have to identify it. That is step one. And now step 2 through X is, like you said, how do we resolve it? How do we mitigate this?
Just like with baby boys. The first little girl that shows up with a baby that looks just like him, and you still can't acknowledge that he's abusive to women. Because he just got somebody pregnant without showing any responsibility. He didn't even tell you he had a baby. She shows up at the door with a baby that looks just like him. He just abused women in the sense that he abused the baby, the mother, and now you. There's 3 pieces of evidence that his ass just lied, cheated, and stole.
That he is very much the center of the problem. He is the problem. I mean, he is.
And I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off the problem population that we initially started the conversation. But I'm just giving you a. See, I love you so much because you see societal issue. But almost every time I can sit down, meditate, and bring it home.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on out there
Right.
goes on right in front of us.
Yes, that's true. That's true because, just based on what you just said, it's more than just him. It's you, we, the mother. I mean, the mother. We're also a part of the problem because we're enabling.
If we continue to enable, we are part of the problem population.
Yeah.
I don't want to connect myself to them whatsoever. But as long as I'm still paying taxes, buying stuff that supports their system,
I'm in a state of denial.
I am the enabler.
Yeah, I'm the enabler. And it could be because I'm caught in that vicious psychological loop.
Okay, so let's say this. This isn't an out or an excuse, but yes, when you have been, and I can't find a better word right now, so you might have to help me, but when you are bred generationally into a culture of enablers, okay?
Right.
You went to church 50 years.
Right,
Your
right.
mama and them went to church until they died.
Mm.
Your mama's mama and them was going to church.
Mm-hmm.
They were sold a bill of goods then,
Right.
and it has perpetuated and not enforced itself
Right.
into your culture.
Yeah.
It is not going to be that easy to just
Right.
turn around and say, I stop. I'm stopping all of that right now, starting today. I'm going to get up in the morning. Yes.
Yeah, right. We're talking breaking generational curses here. Yeah.
I hope and pray it doesn't take a generation to break it, break the curse, but I would not be surprised if it doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, excitingly, it does begin with the statue coming down that vibrates sickness. I mean, that's a start. That's the beginning, right? To where we are acknowledging that this thing here is not cohesive.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. You don't stop there, because what happens is someone sees something that beautiful and then they think they can sit on the laurels for a little while.
Yeah. No,
That's a signal that some people are willing and ready to, like you said, see the problem as a problem.
That's true. That's true. Because it does take a certain level of awareness and sensitivity and acknowledgement to remove something that's been there 81 years.
But the goal is to find momentum
Okay.
after that.
Okay.
So there you go. Asante na kwaheri means thank you, goodbye. Hope you enjoyed the not perfect recording, but it was what was on our heart at the time. Hotep, be balanced and stay well.